Hey, friends. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, the intuitive psychiatrist. And today, friends, we're going to have a conversation that touches on a question that many parents have, especially now. We, we have kids, but some of us have kids that are really, really intuitive, really, really psychic. And there's a question of what do we what do we do with them? Parenting is parenting is I know. Parenting is tough. Parenting is tough. And a lot of the spiritual development right now focuses on adults and cultivating their intuition, but there's less guidance when it comes to kids. And our next guest is a teacher, wisdom keeper, quantum meditation guide, and mentor to the Starseed generations. Mr. Kenji Kumara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Yes, yes. So Kenji, your path is so unique. And let's start with your journey. What led you specifically to want to work with kids, in particular the kids that are psychic and highly intuitive?
Back in my early days of my seeking, this was in the early 70s, I studied with a transmedium. So that's a person that can completely step aside and allow another energy to come through and speak through the voice and everything. And that was not weird for me. That was very natural, that level of work. And in my very first reading, almost in the very first couple of minutes, this being said, and I got a visual as this being was saying this, but he basically said that I am to lead the kids into the new age. Now, I had not heard about that term new age back 1972, and but I understood what he meant, and I had this visualization like I'm out in like deep space, and I see the Earth, and I'm out there in space, and I'm like pointing the way to the new Earth for these kids. Like I had my arm out pointing to this new Earth, and there's a whole line of kids following, going towards the new Earth. So that was my visual, and from that, I was inspired to get my master's in early childhood education, my teaching credentials, and all that. Thinking back then, that's like the late 70s when I got my master's, that I would work with kids in that kind of way. But it never happened. It was like I guess the world was not ready. And so fast forward to 2025, here I am, and I'm creating a kind of like a university looking 2-year curriculum spiritual development course for these teens and the Gen Z generation. Because my perspective is, other than maybe studying yoga and I guess maybe meditation, um, they don't really have resources for them to develop and harness their gifts. So it's like, in a way, some of these kids are still hiding in the closet because if they really told people what they were seeing and feeling and knowing, mm, they might get a lot of question marks, if you will. You know what I mean? Like non-acceptance or like, tell me more. So, but it's getting better. Back in the day in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, a lot of these kids, these Forerunner kids, these Starseed generation kids, the Indigos, the Crystals, all of them, um, they were doing their best to pave the way and bring in new kinds of consciousness. It's more prevalent now, but there's a lot of these young kids that could use discipline in a sense and self kind of a self-learning kind of a model where they can begin to create what they want in their life. So when they get older, they can start their business and their private practice and, start teaching globally as well as locally. In kind of a format for them to know about these different spiritual anatomy levels and meditation and the power of their thinking, their thoughts, and how to keep their body in balance, which is very important with this generation. I think that's one of their weak spots is nutrition and taking care of their body.
Wow, you brought up a lot of really important points. I want to just clarify some of them. You talked about wanting to help them develop and harness their gifts. And just so we're all clear on different definitions, when you think of someone, a kid that's psychic or intuitive, how are you defining that? What comes to mind?
Well, generally, these kids have a hard time fitting into the norm, and they are influenced by peer pressure and AI and their cell phones and the internet and TikTok and all that, which can be a huge distraction regarding them staying on their path, so to speak. So when I was growing up, I kind of knew things, I sensed things. I didn't fit in. I was kind of like a rebel, and I didn't know about my gifts in a more conscious way. So I kind of fumbled through life, through elementary school, middle school, high school. College was a bit different. That was where I began to express my gifts through remembering, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And when I would read something, I go, yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I can quite explain it, but I understood that very high level of philosophical kind of perspective because I studied metaphysics pretty much my whole life, the esoteric, the things that most people don't study. And I've learned to put that together in a sense, in a package in a way, to present it to the world and to the starseed generation. So think of this. So starseeds, I wrote an article, 33 signs of a starseed, and it's on my blog page on my website. And I just did that in about 30 minutes, maybe. I just brought through, I think people could benefit by reading this, especially the kids. But when you have these innate abilities that aren't accepted by society, that becomes a challenge with these kids. Well, what do I do with this? I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, I'm knowing things that other people aren't aware of. And when I try to communicate that to them, they just kind of don't understand. Although there are parents and there are adults that understand these kids, and that's a very positive sign. So, it's like these star seeds are looking for a platform to express themselves. And there's not a lot out in the world yet, places where they can come together and teach each other, share with each other, a safe place. So we're creating a safe platform for these kids to express their gifts. And there are many. You could say that these kids are, in a way, geniuses. They're savants.
Mm,
Um, they're pioneers.
yeah.
And what they need is to be really grounded and to have a safe place where they can go, in a sense, to express their abilities. There are kids that are being born Example, I saw a video of this kid, he's like 4 or 5, and he was playing the piano like Beethoven. No training. He's on the piano
Yep.
playing this symphonic melody. So, that child could be an incarnation of these so-called famous composers we've had in our history. But that's just one example. They can be very talented musically speaking, artistically speaking, and also technology wise. And it's important for them to have a platform where they can develop their gifts and not kind of fumble through life, searching. So we're providing kind of a mentorship for these kids and a place where and this is very important, where they can feel safe in opening up and just vocally sharing what they see in the world, how they see the world, because they think very differently than most people. Their brains are wired a little differently. Their DNA setup is a little different.
Can you speak a little bit to that, like what you mean? In what ways have you noticed they think differently than other people?
I'll give you an example. When I was in my graduate program, I had two wonderful teachers. And one of them said to me in conversation in her office, just as a matter of fact, well, you see the whole of things first.
Mm.
Whereas most students, they study the parts and then attempt to put the parts together to make a whole. Whereas you see the whole first. And I thought, just for a moment, I reflected, I go, oh, wow. Yeah, I guess I do that. But see, I never knew that I did that. So, so in a way, that's kind of a visionary level where you can see possibilities already without having to work with the parts.
I love it. I love it. Visionaries, the word that you use is pioneer. Very, very, very true. I wonder when you're working with the parents of these kids, and they're realizing, oh well, my kids have these sensitivities, these abilities. In what ways can you mentor family members to help support this child?
Well, there's simple things parents can do with their kids, but it's not done on a regular basis. And actually, it's not done in marriages. It's really not done in companies. But to me, these are obvious things that if you do it, you'll be very productive and you'll be very happy in your life. So, one of the things that parents can do with their kids is to meditate with the kids every day. Because the earth changes and what's happening with society, all countries around the world, you're seeing a collapse and a disintegration of everything that's dysfunctional so that the new earth kind of consciousness can be born in the world. Now, most people aren't aware of that. So when one meditates with another person, you create a bond and an energetic connection on a soul level that's very
Mm.
important. So parents need to become aware that really the true communication comes on a soul level, not on a personality level, not on a body to body level. We all know pretty much what we mean when we talk about ego and how that manifests in the world. Because, see, the ego is not designed to solve problems. I say this over and over again, but it's something that people don't even think about. Your mind, in a sense, your belief systems, in a way, aren't designed to solve problems, but you have an ego to drive your car, balance your checkbook, go get gas when you need gas, go shopping, those kind of things, the mundane things. The rest of you, the soul, that is designed to, shall we say, solve problems, challenges. lessons. Now,
I
how do you know when you're coming from that level? Well, here's the thing. If you create anything out of fear and worry and anxiety, it's just going to not work and it's going to create more of that worry, stress, anxiety, fear. When you come from this place of unconditional love, that's the soul level, then things happen, things are permanent, things last, and things are, shall we say, successful. So it's a matter of becoming conscious and aware of where you're coming from when you create your day, your business, your career, your parenting. So if parents learn how to communicate to their children from a soul level, oh, that's a whole different ballgame.
I I love it. Just so many just beautiful, beautiful truths. And true communication is on a soul level, and taking the time to meditate with your kids. Oh, simple but powerful. Oh, I it is like, I mean, who does it? I
Yeah. Who does it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a toddler, and you would be surprised, but even toddlers, if you show them, if you sit with them, can attempt to meditate, or at least sit with you and close their eyes. So, oh, thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
See, kids have a natural inclination to imitate their parents.
Yeah.
So if mom's meditating, she's sitting on the floor on a cushion and she's got her eyes closed and she's breathing very softly and her energy feels very relaxed. Well, I think I might like to imitate that too.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised he'd do it, but yeah, it just shows that you can do this with your kids. You can do it with your kids. I wanted to ask, are there guardrails, or just any cautions you would have them think about as they're navigating this path of self-development, psychic exploration?
Well, we can talk in general terms, I suppose. So, as we know, peer pressure is very strong in this younger generation, and it takes a very strong soul, so to speak, to not be influenced by the peer pressure, societal pressure. Oh, got to do it this way, can't do it that way, follow along, don't step out of line, kind of thing. So, what we also teach kids is to be free thinkers. So, maybe to question everything, not to be a skeptic, but to question everything that you hear and ask, is this true for me? So, if you start at an early age and asking that question, what I just heard, is that, or what I just saw with my eyes, is that true for me? And you'll get a feeling. You'll either get a loving, warm feeling, or you'll get a kind of staticky, like, oh my God, that doesn't feel good. Those vibes don't feel good. See, these kids know about vibes. What vibes really good and what doesn't. And these kids need to know that they don't have to absorb or take on the bad vibes that they feel in the world or in the household or wherever, in school, in churches, whatever. So kind of like the rule of thumb is, if it feels good, okay, say yes to it energetically. If it doesn't feel good, dismiss it and say, no, thank you. So this is training that if you do it at an early age and you do it on a daily basis, when you get older, you become very strong and you become like an oak tree when the storm comes.
Mm.
You're
I,
not blown away, by the winds and the rain and the earthquakes, that you're steady. These kids need to know how to be steady in these earth changes because it'll get much more intense as we get into our future, so to speak. The
Oh,
main thing is to teach these kids to know what is true and what is not.
oh, I love.
Very, very important, but it's also can be a very not a complex thing, but if you don't work on it, if you don't work on knowing the truth and the truth for you, not somebody else.
Mm,
If you develop that skill will take you very far in life. How many marriages don't stay together after 50 years? Just an example.
and very, very, very few, very
Yeah,
few.
kind of idea working parenting kids is if the family unit doesn't come together on a regular basis in communication, meditating together, doing yoga together, going out in nature together for walks, talking about life, talking about these hard questions, talking about sex, talking about all these things that these kids are trying to figure out on their own. But if they had guidance, it would make their life smoother, shall we say, and more creative in a way. So we're really here to hold the space for these kids to develop their creativity. And
Oh,
it can be in all levels of society. Because these kids came as inventors.
yeah.
They come as system busters in a sense. They've come as examples of how life could be on Earth, given that they have the space and the permission to do that. So permission is very important. So if these kids don't feel safe at home, at school, at church, in the world, they're going to struggle. Safety is very important for these kids. Emotional safety, psychological safety, and energetic safety.
Can you talk about those things, like the just practical things that you might recommend for emotional safety, energetic safety?
Well, one thing parents can do working with their kids is to understand what kinds of activities, what kind of spaces that allows their children to flourish and what kind of situations hamper their creativity or brings their energy down or makes them depressed or angry or upset. Young kids, because they don't have the languaging yet, will cry, throw tantrums, will act out because they're trying to tell the parents or the adults, hey, the vibes aren't good here. We need to change this somehow. Parents, if they're not in a stable place, will affect their kids energetically, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So again, coming together in meditation, and it doesn't have to be for a long time. It could be 10 minutes just sitting together with your children, going into the silence, just feeling love and peace. And see, kids will misbehave if they don't know inwardly or feel in their bodies that they're not loved and accepted and supported.
Such a strong statement. Oh my gosh. No, it is. Like, I mean, I feel like, because I'm a psychiatrist, and all the stuff that you're saying, I mean, it rings true. It
Mhm.
it rings true why kids act out. Just how important, like, as a parent, like, I mean, I know for myself that I gotta check my energy because my son's so good at picking stuff up.
Yeah,
Um
well, give him permission to say, "Hey, mommy, your energy's off. You need to recenter and breathe." Yeah, try that experiment. Give him permission to tell you when your energy's off.
I will, but he's such a sweetheart. He's such a
Yeah.
sweetheart. You probably do it in the nicest way. So I will give him permission to do it. Sometimes I need to be checked. I am learning. We're in student teacher mode, the two of us, learning as we go. Um, I did want to ask about, because you talked about meditation, and there's so many different types of meditation. I know you do quantum meditation, but I guess for this group, what types of meditation do you recommend?
Well, what I've learned in my journey of over 55 years,
Yes.
my ups and downs and everything, that if you keep everything you do and teach simple, it's relatable to many people. So we have moved beyond the level of what's the word? Of you got to do it this way.
Yeah.
So religions teach you got to do it this way. Politics say you got to do it this way. But the mystics, if one studies mysticism, that's a very fascinating field in a sense. We've had in our history many mystics that many people never study, but they give us a glimpse of what it's like to be in that other place.
Mm.
So basically, pranayama, which is basically the process of breathing, conscious breathing, is very important in meditation. So it doesn't involve any kind of religious doctrine, right? Everybody breathes, but there's certain ways that you can breathe. And if you breathe it with other people in the same kind of way, it produces a very profound energy. So we teach people how to use conscious breathing to relax the body. That's point number one, right? Relaxing the activity of the brain, relaxing the vagus nerve system, relaxing the muscles, relaxing even the bones of your body. That's the preparatory level. My dad used to say, you need to relax. I was so hyper growing up because I had all this energy and didn't have necessarily the right kind of channels to channel this energy other than sports.
Yes.
These kids now have many opportunities for a lot of things that my generation never had. So after you learn about conscious breathing, then you work with your presence or the soulness of you. So it's not your ego at that point. It's not your mind. It's not your emotional body. It's not any of that stuff. So your soul, think of your soul as non-local and it's everywhere in the higher realms. Whereas your body is kind of like fixed in space and time. It's like right here. But the rest of us, that part that, how shall we say, descended into our bodies when we were born, that is non local. So that is accessible at any time, given the focus to do that. So the next part in meditation is to bring awareness to this other part of you that's very vast,
Yeah.
that's very loving, that has everything really that you are seeking in your life. And then we teach people how to begin to embody it by bringing it through the power of the breath into the body, into the cells, into the organs. And that takes practice. So eventually, when you get really good with your practice, then your embodiment of the rest of you is just natural. It's here and it's working in your life when you go shopping, when you go get gas, when you go to the bank, you go to the doctor. But we also teach there's another component. Think of it this way. If you look at the world right now, it's in a mess. Just just look at it logically, right? Everybody's in a state of confusion, pain, fear, anger, upsetness. Nobody's getting along. Everybody's arguing. Everybody has their point of view. All right. That's the ego world.
Mm.
The world has been veiled in that energy. And that's when you step out of that world, out of that bubble, and you look at it from afar, then you can see the nature of that. So we'll just call that the matrix of suffering and pain. There's a way out of this matrix, and that's what we teach in the work, how to step out of that bubble of suffering into the clear space of you as the soul or as the universal spirit or whatever you want to call it. Religions have these names for them, but again, that's compartmentalized. We're working out of the compartmentalization of everything, of everything. So the world has all these compartments, right? And everybody fits into these little compartments, but nobody's getting along. Everybody's like got disagreements, right? That departments, like in a university, how
Yes,
many of the departments communicate with each other? No, they're all separate little entities doing their little thing,
it's true.
right?
There's a lot of truth. There's a lot of
Yeah,
truth. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're teaching about how to step out of that bubble of suffering because it's possible and to recreate your life from a place of harmony and peace. And this is not a woo-woo thing because students continually report when they can step out of the bubble of suffering, oh, life is just beautiful.
I feel it,
Well,
right?
kids don't have to suffer and struggle. And parents, as parents, don't need to struggle and suffer in their parenting.
I love it. I love it. There's the potential for everyone to get out of that matrix. Um,
Yeah.
I I I I wanted to, I guess, one last question. You are a visionary, and I'm listening to you. I just feel the possibility that there is for humanity. Well, you got a vision. Like, how do you think that this program is going to change the individual family units? How do you think it's going to change, like, communities, the communities that we live in? And then the last part is like, well, how might this, if we take this knowledge into account, like, how might it transform our world today?
Oh, it will. It will. Now, can I give you specifics? Well, we're all uniquely different.
Okay.
Based on the feedback I've gotten from everybody that I've shared the work with, that includes programs, events, mentoring, personal sessions, all that stuff. Over the last 20 years, specifically over the last 20 years, the main feedback is that the work changes your life. Now, when people say it's changed my life, that's all I need to hear. I don't need specifics because I can tune in and feel that. I don't need for them to like, be really specific with like how things have changed. But if a person says like this training or this program totally changed my life, to me, that means they got out of the suffering mode and into this other place where life becomes beautiful and flowing and empowered. See, we're all seeking to be loved
Yes.
and to love
Yes.
and to be recognized for who we are and to be accepted for who we are, not ego wise, but spiritually, right?
Absolutely.
If we don't get that, we struggle. We stay in the bubble of suffering. So when I get feedback on, wow, this changed in my life and like this is flowing now and my communication with my family is like so different now and people keep saying, well, God, you've really changed. How have you changed? Because people know the difference when you change, but they may not know, but they are asking like, wow, what have you done? You look really different. Your energy feels really different. You're happier. You're like not upset like you used to be. And like, oh, you created this business that we had no idea that you're going to do, things like that.
Yes.
So we all want our kids to be happy, but the kids, they need to develop in a way their happiness. They need to create a structure, an energy structure, more than a physical. They need to create an energetic structure the way they feel stable, they feel safe, where they feel like they can talk to anybody about anything.
Mm,
That's really important for kids growing up because they hold a lot in,
yeah.
right? And then if they don't get the permission to express, then they act out or they develop things like autism or they develop uh, psychospiritual behavior that requires medication or whatever. Got to understand when you medicate young kids, that really affects their brain chemistry and their auric field, which when medicine acknowledges, oh, that the human body does have an energy field. Well, that's already been documented by curling photography and all that back in the 70s. So
Yeah.
what else is new, you guys? Like, so anyway,
Get out of here.
so
Sorry.
medicine, when they begin to acknowledge that, yes, we have a human body, we have an energy field, we have a soul, we have a creator that loves us and does not judge us at all, because that's a big one on another level,
Mm,
life becomes very different on the earth. So the vision for these Starseed kids is to give them permission to seek out knowledge that they already have. That's like a dichotomy, right? But if I look at my life, every reading I've had, every healing I've had, every whatever to try to help myself has been a reflection of what I already know. But in my early decades of seeking, I wasn't aware of that understanding. So it was everything outside of myself. So now we're teaching everything that you need is in your field.
mm.
And all you got to do is attune to that vibration. So it's like taking a vibration being very dense, like earthbound, and raising it up into, shall we say, the higher atmospheres.
Yeah.
And then we descend with that awareness. We return to the body with a little bit more of this high vibrational energy. And little by little, then your body can begin to reheal, can begin to raise its collective vibration so that it never gets sick or never has accidents. See, the illness, the disease, the psychiatric conditions, whatever you want to call it, is because we're stuck in the field. We're stuck in the, again, the bubble of suffering. That
Oh,
bubble says you cannot heal, you cannot be yourself, you got to play the game. So these star seeds, they go, no, I'm not playing that game. But where's the other game that I can play, right? They're looking. So that's where people like myself, we come and go, here, hey, look at this curriculum. This will help you internally to build a foundation for when you are, say, 30 or 35. You will have the spiritual grounding to go through anything in life with flow, with awareness, with a lot of love.
I love that spiritual grounding. I love that. Oh my goodness, Kenji, I do. You light my fire. So, um, how can because I know people gonna want to talk to you. Um, how can they get in contact with you?
They call the cosmos. They dial 911. Oh, they can just go to kenjikumara.com, KenjiKumara.com, or you can Google my name. I'm sort of on Facebook, but I don't work it. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Pinterest, Instagram. But if you go to the site, you can see the offerings, and we are working on 3 programs that hopefully will be available by January. 2 of them will definitely be done before January, and the third one, which is the Starseed program, uh, hopefully might be done in January or February. So let me just explain this, how this is uniquely different, in my opinion, the Starseed program.
Yes.
It's going to contain 98 video lessons of 30 minutes each, approximately, with a PDF worksheet for the students to do their homework in a sense. So this is like an alternative to the curriculum they're studying in school that bores them. It's basically everything they wanted to know about the universe in this 2-year program, spiritually speaking. So we're covering all kinds of bases in a sense, all areas of study and interest. And it's basically can be a 2-year program, or they can just do 1-year program, because there's going to be 2 different programs of 49 weeks. So they can do a module once a week and do their homework. And so it's being designed like how we do in the university, where it's going to be a set time program. So people can do it at their leisure, or they can do it like they were taking a college course or a high school course. Um, but it's going to be on spiritual development. It's going to be on everything that the educational system is not teaching them. I'm also available privately to do parent child mentoring as well. That would be on Zoom.
All right. There you go. There you go. So this is for teens and teens to 20s. Um,
And their parents as well. I mean, it's
we'll
not,
take it. We need all the help we can
yeah, it's for adults as well.
get. Yeah, we need all the help we can get. Kenji, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your light, your heart. Um, just oh, you give us hope. You give you
Oh, yeah.
you do. Like it's hard out here. It's hard out here, but this is just um, something that humanity has really been needing, and a conversation, at the very least, it's going to spark conversation that people need, conversations that people have been wanting to have. So thank you for your presence, your essence, your work. It's
Wow.
been a pleasure. If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.